Mami, enko ho mama so quickly na me fa enkomodidi no. Emfa Mr. Samo Oben Akachi, where Executive Director Emma Parliamentary Network Africa. Now, engine thoughts on the development in Parliament. Mr. Oben, morning.
Morning, Minia.
Now, a bomb designer pay.
And I don't know announce where.
You made the Kukumka cracker. Mr. Oben, summarize my from view the a course for our Parliament, you know, what you made of it.
Yo, I'm the Miss Minia Hokwain, share the full sitting that fear. Now, first of all, no, as we may follow Parliament across, you know, the continent and all over the place. I wasn't very surprised that Nyoma turning out that because in many democracies, as or more democracy may grow, as or more parliament evolve, you have situations where parliament want to assess themselves as a co-equal branch of government.
Okay.
You know, where parliaments want to present themselves for the executive branch to do it. And yes, rank the three arms of government, executive year number 1, parliament year number 2, judiciary year number 3. But in the face of separation of powers, equality of the various arms of government, we are on the same pedestal. Just that Obia when Juma would what it means in growing democracies, so there is the expectation there abino the executive branch and name Rashidojano, ebedi kita hunki now I engage more proactively, especially when you have the challenges that we currently have with our parliament and the dynamics. Let me use the word dynamics rather than challenges. The numbers, almost at par for both majority and minority sides. Say speaker here from a different political party than the ruling president. So follow U.S. Congress situation here. Some of these things for a developed democracy like the United States, are quite common. The executive, the Bibiabana parliament, because party people one numbers, negotiations, back for SWA, for people say, to a consensus that both groups to feel it a bois, Emma or Mino, but also stated the position of almost respective political groupings with regards to what they stand for by way of how development must be undertaken in a particular country. It's immediate. I never want to mostly kind of piece that really didn't run. One of the things that I mentioned, and they say, I felt that entry was, some of the approaches that the majority group rather took, which for me, they could have stood their ground and could have worked out to allow things to go in a different way. But of course, once you leave the chamber there, you leave the whole place to, you give a field day to the minority to go ahead with what needed to be done. Because Yekumu has parliament is now group be working out there. The sittings of the house does not continue.
Opani, there is a critical matter outstanding and now they will attempt to address. Set budget you reject it and I say you reject it. Say constitutional and I say any constitutional. We take anything.
Well, my reading of your constitution, the parliament standing orders. The first point in this Friday, parliament rejects the budget. But Akwenya Sansu through parliamentary standing orders, the constitution on how what do I mean by parliament reject the budget? Almost process and procedure almost follow. Now, one of those, then they say, usually about 1 year by voice vote, we must say yeah, we must say no, and now mobile mama so head count, and now say in some instances the friend of division, and now say in some instances for a secret ballot. But in this particular case, there was a bit about head count. Remember, from the very beginning, not the issue that needed to be decided on was to say, and can suspend the process of taking the motion on the approval of the budget. Then you be finance minister ni leadership in meeting. That decision in and come into division. Majority party no work it out, majority group no work it out. But once they worked out, the process continued, and there was a vote. Parliament, once I'm not call records, Parliament, the House of Records. The only way I'll be to me, I'm about one course, and taking effect, and they say we will put in a request for rescission, a motion on rescission. Say, decision Parliament is taking now no fear dano. You can see to swap say that decision, yes, some boom, yani a kind, but you can see a book. And no is one of the options that is available today. Apart from that, assuming the majority, another government already feel it's okay, Friday, okay, Parliament take a decision. Minority, had position. Over the weekend, they meet you on the present a revised economic policy and budget for 2022, and also an option that is available to them. But yes, on Friday, I think so far as I'm concerned, I'm very clear in my mind that Parliament took a decision. The decision was, one, not to meet the finance minister before the decision to adopt the motion or reject the motion on the budget. And then number two, they actually voted on the motion to adopt the budget, and they voted in the negative.
Obani, sir, and one ekushia. Bibina and Parliament must build a consensus. The Speaker of Parliament is not there. Honorable Joe Wise and Betina Ejemu. How do they build consensus with one of the majority members and Betina Ejemu?
Well, you see, with the numbers now, your Parliament, consensus is actually the only option. Why do I say this? Remember, sir, our Parliament ejumedi mu no say otuaba na sabane paya it means the decision has lost. The otuaba na say a paya, whatever was being voted for has lost. Speaking Niwa, what it means is the first deputy speaker and a chair, and as the second deputy speaker, whichever one is given the opportunity to chair. Immediately one of them takes the seat, actually say once or two parties, two sides, almost full attendance of crowd, the number is 137, 137. Because the one presiding by the standing orders and the constitution only vote. What it means is that the majority party, any government, does not have the openness to build consensus with the minority. There will be stalemate throughout the process until the Speaker Beba. And for me, I don't think that many will need the government of the day, not even the opposition group wants that to happen. Because they approve budget by the end of the 1st December, a big deal. And I'm not too sure seeing that. Is what I expect when they say First Deputy Speaker Joe Wise, the experiences over the years will come to bear. What I expect, the clerks of Parliament, administrators, procedural advisors in Parliament, no better advising you. What I expect is that the two leaders of both sides, any homo leadership, just like they usually do, because in Parliament they do, and they meet with the Speaker, they discuss issues. One discuss, one differences in our one resolve. Then the chamber anymore, they would have agreed on a procedure to make sure that this whole process is dealt with. Almost ban on by exchanging waiting meeting how when you see there will be a stalemate right up to when Speaker actually comes, and it will not help anybody.
Mr. Obeng, the minority has set some 5 conditions based upon which they might rescind their decision on the budget. No, one say one more expect to see about withdraw a Japan deal. No, one more expect to see about suspended 1.75 e-levy. No, one more also advocating for a proper reconstruction of paragraph 829 FA Ake Energy home and ensensem. And after one more area say government may review the position on benchmark value Emma imports as well as Qatar tidal waves in sensem no feature no. Very easy, sir.
Well, then here easy. But I expect to say there will be an approach to it. Remember, say out of the 5 conditions, on the floor of the House that Friday, majority leader G2 must say, Ake Energy at the end of the day, I think that they conceded. And I think that one will be a very easy one. Number 2, almost answer G2 must say, kept I idea here. At least that's what I heard. You know, everything I can want them. Entirely for these 2, in there and your way. Number 3, what I've also heard in the media, and that even when it comes to the e-levy, I am told that there were some decisions that were taken in cabinet last week. At least we heard that in the news, and it was the very reason in Tiananka Finance Minister said will engage you or more, to be able to come to a consensus. My expectation is that between Friday, RBC and NRA, any and none of things, they should be talking. In fact, I'll be very surprised if the ministry, the majority group, the minority group, all of the stakeholders have not been talking since Friday. I'll be very surprised. I expect that they should be talking. I also expect to say the minority caucus should be able to give what the alternatives are. Government will say, okay, the person may raise it so much through e-levy because Minisika may debate me every minor. Minority, so there be e-levy. But of course, as a party that almost also constituted government, I expect that they would also be able to say that, yeah, catch a e-levy mono, yeah, press it, obey the same moon. In the fact, you cannot raise it from e-levy, maybe you could raise it from this other side. Then an alternative is being given because then I determine, and we cannot have positions without giving alternative approach to it. In Gavia, yes, corruption, the baby, and answer procurement irregularities, of course, the calculation, so savings is getting in a bit e-levy situation. I expect that they should be able to come to a consensus. But you see, when you are going into a negotiation, to be take it to the position so wildly, usually, consensus in Timimba. They expect some level of flexibility and so. But in all of it, the clarion call of the Ghanaian people, the Ghana Puznia, Bohumpaye, Il Sufreno, should be the ultimate decision that gets taken.
Like and subscribe and click on the notification. Happy FM, Nimdie, Happy FM, and Nijenkwa.